Welcome back, guys. Today we've got a little bit of a different type of video, more of a celebration actually for hitting 1,000 subscribers. Honestly, I don't really care a whole lot about the subscriber number, but 1,000 people is a lot of people. So if 1,000 people have found these videos helpful, that's a big deal. My goal with all of this is really just to inspire you and equip you to go serve your church well and create awesome music. So I thought a fun way to celebrate would be to connect with you guys and answer some of your burning questions. So let's go ahead and jump in. So to kick us off, Todd asked, what are your 3 can't live without pedals? So number 1 is definitely for me going to be the Benson preamp down here. If you've seen any of my other videos, you've definitely heard me talk all about this, but it basically does everything really well. So you can run it as a first stage, kind of lighter gain, light drive pedal. I like to run it as kind of a medium gain, thicker second stage overdrive, but you can also crank it and kind of get into that fuzzy amp blowing up territory. It's just awesome and I love it. My second pick is probably going to be the Big Sky. I've tried a handful of different reverb pedals and there's a lot of really good ones out there, but I think for me and my workflow and the way that I like to run reverbs, having the 3 presets on board, really easily accessible to me in the middle of a worship set is just so nice. And the onboard sounds and everything that it does just sounds so good. So definitely love this guy. And I was having kind of a hard time picking a third because honestly, I really like to just try out all kinds of different pedals. But if I had to pick right now, I would go with the Strymon Iridium. That may raise some eyebrows for you guys, but at least for me right now, and considering the modelers that I have tried so far, the Iridium is the best bang for your buck in my opinion. Super happy with it. I'm not claiming it's the best thing ever, but I think as far as the price goes, the simplicity of it, and the fact that I've already put some money into IRs and things like that, it's really compelling for me to stick with this. So I'd probably pick that as my number 3. All right, Eric asked Iridium versus HX Stomp versus Ampero 2 Stomp versus ACS1. So I actually haven't played an HX Stomp yet, and I'm not sure what the Ampero 2 Stomp is, so I'll just take Iridium versus ACS1. For me, I like the Iridium a little bit more. They're both great options, but to me, I liked the sound of the breakup on the Iridium more. I like the way that it took pedals a little bit more than the ACS1. The ACS1 is great because it does have the true stereo functionality, and it's definitely solid, but I think just as far as feel goes, I prefer the Iridium. And if you want to hear those in action, I actually do have a shootout between the two, so you can check that out right up here. Eli or Ellie, not sure which one it is, asked, how is your EQ in the mixer at front of house? Your tone is killer. Thank you. I feel like I should throw a disclaimer into this one because I am not a front of house mix engineer. That's not my strong suit. I'm just a guitar player. But as I'm dialing in my tone for a Sunday morning, I like to try to give the mix engineer the easiest sample to work with. I actually may give them a little bit more low end than they actually need just so I sound pretty full, because I find that it's a little easier to just take that away and trim the fluff versus trying to add some of that back in with the EQ. So I don't know exactly what kind of magic the engineers do at the front of house board, but I would imagine that they're probably trimming some of the fluff and kind of shaping me in somewhere in that mid-range so that I'm not stepping on top of the vocals and I'm also not clashing with the keys. So I'm in my own pocket. Aaron asks, amps or nah? Getting to the real hard-hitting questions here. For me, I feel like amps always win. It really comes down to convenience. I use my Iridium week in and week out, and for me it's good enough because it gets 90% there. And the trade-off is that it's way more convenient. It sits on my board. I don't need to lug an amp in and out of my car. If I need to make any adjustments or anything, it's right down at my feet and it's just easy. So for me, 90% is good enough, especially because nobody in the congregation would ever know. However, if I'm recording on an album, or if my church has some really great house amps, maybe in another room and they live there, and it's easy for me just to show up on a Sunday and just plug right in and I'm good to go, then I'm definitely going to be using the best amps that I can. All right, Ethan's hitting us with some even harder hitting questions. He asks, what's the largest animal you could take in a fight barehanded? So you can see I'm not really a huge guy, so I gave this a lot of thought. And I am going to go with a flamingo, especially because they're already on one leg. So I think I definitely have the advantage there. Jack asks, what was your first guitar? So I've actually got it right here still. I got this when I was about 13 years old. And it's one of those like $100 starter packs. It's got the little junior neck and it comes with the amp. So I learned on this guy. So at this point, it's about 15, 16 years old. Looking a little bit rusty. I actually haven't plugged it in, so I don't know if it works still. These strings are disgusting, too. But this is where it all started. All right, Facundo, I hope I'm saying your name right. Facundo asks, better gear or better guitar skills? Great question. I think this goes back to the classic tone is in the fingers. I really do believe that gear can only get you so far. I know in worship music, it's pretty heavy on the effects side of things, so gear is definitely important to help you get some of those sounds, but it's really important that you have the skills as a foundation so that your effects can just build on top of what's already there. All right, that's all the questions we got this time. This was really fun. Maybe we can try to do something like this again here in the near future. But I'd love to know what you guys think about some of these questions that were asked. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I'd love to know what you guys think and connect with you down in the comments. So I'll jump down there. Let's keep this conversation going. And until next time, I'll see you later. Peace.